A function should start with the keyword def in small letters, leave a space, give a name for the function. How should you name a function? The rule is how you give the rules for identifiers. That is what the name should be given. The name should be followed like how you do it while naming a variable. So function name is also the same. It should not contain any special characters, no space allowed and all that. Okay, and you give an open close bracket and put a colon. That is compulsory because inside the function we give a piece of code which is a block. It has to be indented. So give a colon and all the statements inside the function needs to be given after an indentation. The last statement of the function is the return value. That is the answer that you have found out using this method. That value or the variable should be returned. That should be given as the last statement. Okay. Now let us see an example of how to write a function. Okay. See, let us write a function to find the sum of two numbers. Okay. How will you find the sum of two numbers? First, define the function using the def keyword. Def. What does the function say? I'm going to give the name as sum. Def sum, open close bracket, colon. Right? Now, sum of what? Sum of two numbers or three numbers. Now, when you say sum of two numbers, you need the numbers which you have to add. So, you have to get the variables that are used for this function. So, how will you get the variables? Give two variables here, a comma b colon. These are the numbers that you're going to add. How will you calculate? Say c is equal to a plus b, d is equal to a minus b. Whatever functionality you want, you can write it inside. And okay, let us first have it for sum. Now, let us write a program to find the sum of two numbers, a user-defined function. So, you should start a function definition using the keyword def. Def sum of a comma b. Say I'm going to find the sum of two numbers. How should you define the variable? Put a colon. This is the function header. You call this statement as the function header. How should the function header be? Give a def statement, leave a space, name of the function, open close bracket, colon. With an open close bracket, the variables that are to be used inside the function. Now what am I going to do? Find the sum of these two numbers and give back the answer. What is the purpose of this function? To find the sum. So that sum you have to return back. Give it back. So that C, which is the sum, should be returned. Now, how to run this program? If you simply write these three lines of coding, it is not enough. You have to call the function by its name. If you just define a function, your coding will not work. You have to call the function by its name. So how will you call this function? You have to write sum of and give two values to add. Now, let me say sum of 100, 52. This is how you should call the function. Sum of 100, 52. It should not be indented. It should be straight. Now, when I call sum of 100, 52, the first value which you pass will be assigned to the first variable. The second value will be assigned to the second variable. The answer will be, the numbers will be added and put it back to C, and C is returned. The C value is returned in this place. The value of C is substituted here. So in this place 152 is received. Now what happens to this 162? When you return something, there should be something to hold the answer. So what should you give to hold the answer? There are two things that you can do. Either you give a print command where the answer will be directly printed, or you give a variable which will hold the value. So for returning a value, you should have a variable ready here to to get the value, to receive the value. If you don't want this variable, if you think, why should I waste a variable in the memory? So let me directly print it, then no problem. Just give print sum of 100, 52. Right? Now let us see some user defined functions and how to execute that in Python. I'll show you how to write a user defined function in Python and execute it. See, let us write a function to find the sum and difference. So def sum a comma b colon. Once you press enter, it will automatically indent it. C is equal to a plus b, return C. Next, I'm going to write another function difference to find the difference of two numbers. Colon, difference is equal to a minus b, return D. Now, these are just function definitions. I'll save and show you what happens. If you simply run this program, nothing will happen because we are not calling the function. See, nothing is there in the output because we just have given the function definition. In order to execute this function, you have to call this function by its name. Sum of not a comma b, give a value 100 comma 200. Then difference of 10 comma 20. Now, if you simply call this sum and call the difference again, sum will get executed, value will be returned, but you don't have any placeholder to hold the returned value. So what happens again? Nothing happens because you haven't printed anything, you haven't received the value. So give an answer that will hold the value. Give another answer 1. I've used two variables to hold the value and then print answer comma answer 1. Now the first answer is 100 plus 200, which is 300. Then 10 minus 20, which is minus 10. Either you can do this, or instead of holding it in a variable, you can directly print the output. Instead of holding it, you can simply give print. So what happens when you call a function, when you say sum of 100 comma 200, this line, when the computer sees this line, it will jump to this place, calculate the answer, and when it encounters the statement return C, it will return to the same place where the function is called, and this will be replaced by the return value. What is the return value? 300 will be assigned here, so it will be printed on the screen. So where you call the function, that will be replaced by the return value. Suppose you don't return anything, you just print. It is also possible. It is not compulsory that you have to return a answer. You can simply print the answer. So let us see what happens when you try to print this. The function is not returning any value, but you have given a placeholder. You want something to be returned. So what happens? Let us see. See, there is a value called none. Why? The default return value of a function is none. So even if you don't return anything, Python automatically returns a default value called none. So if you return it, that value will get returned. If you don't return anything, none will get returned. Okay, fine. Let us see what are arguments or parameters. The actual arguments and the formal parameters are commonly used terms while doing functions. Now taking the example of the program which we wrote just now, look at this one. This 100 comma 200, these are called as actual arguments. Actual arguments are these are values actually. So let me say x is equal to 100, y is equal to 200. Now, when you use x, y here, what happens? X and y that are used in the function call statement are called as actual arguments. The value of x is transferred to a, the value of y is transferred to b. So this a and b which are given in the function header statement, these are called formal arguments. Arguments, parameters, you can use any word. Both mean the same. Arguments or parameters both mean the same. But the difference is actual, formal. What is actual? The one that is used in the function call. The one that is used in the header statement, this AB, all these are called formal. This is actual, this is formal. Okay. This is how you create a function with or without arguments. Hope you understood.